Hey, how's it going, everyone? Sorry for the delay. The software that I'm using, StreamYard, does not seem to be complying with me today. I may have to switch to OBS. If you guys know about this software called OBS, I may have to switch over. I'm tired of these problems right now. But hey, it's NBA betting today. Hope you guys like the background. Trying something new. It's been a long break in the NBA. It seems like forever, right? It seems like forever. You don't know what you have until it's gone. The NBA is back. It's February. It's Thursday, February 24th. Let's get to it, everyone. I'm going to get straight into the slate. I hope you guys enjoyed your time off. Took some time to focus on research with some other sports as well. Had some positive results. If you guys can hit the like button before we get started, it's a pretty interesting schedule tonight. I'll admit, when it comes to a full slate of picks, maybe a full slate of props, I'm a bit hesitant to jump in the waters right away on Thursday. I'm likely to wait until Saturday until I deploy any props at all. But I do have a pick to share today. We're going to go through the schedule. I'm going to share a couple of the lineups and the odds movement as well. And also, once again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, SportX Insights, and hit the like button before we get started. And once again, apologies for the delay. I hope you guys have time to watch it later on replay as well. Let's get to it. I have some notes right here. And we're going to start with the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are going to be on the road today against the Detroit Pistons. The Cavs are 34-21-3 ATS. The Pistons are 27-31 ATS. As you guys know, the Pistons, their confidence was pretty high. The break probably came at an inopportune time for the Detroit Pistons. They stopped the Boston. They ended the Boston Celtics. Not prolific, but they ended the Boston Celtics winning streak going into the All-Star break, winning as outright underdogs. I think it was like plus 550. They really played some decent defense on that night. But now we have a reset in the NBA. We have a period of time where teams are going to try new things. Teams that are behind the pack are going to increase the pressure on their opponents. You're going to see more effort in the first halves from teams that are far behind the pack. But I don't classify the Pistons as one of those teams because of what they've shown us in the tank race so far this season. This team, they're a situational betting team. They're in the Pistons. They're not a team that you want to fade blindly every single night, but they're definitely a team that I even though Darius Garland and Karis LeVert have been ruled out for today for the Cavaliers, I'm still not taking the Pistons. I just don't understand why the line didn't drop by more than it did. This Pistons team seemed to have a bit of confidence going into the All-Star break. They have Jeremy Grant. They have Cade Cunningham, who himself is going to be highly confident after the All-Star break. I just thought this line would drop a bit more. I think it's a bit suspicious. The Cavaliers still have a strong front line. But, when it comes to their energy, their motivation coming out of the All-Star break, this is a team that lost to Eastern Conference playoff rivals. The Hawks and the 76ers both covered on them with ease going into the break. So this is a team that when you add in the amount of days that we've had for a break, when you add in the amount of days that we had for a break for the Cavaliers, this is a team that's starving for a win. I still think the Cavaliers will win this game. I'm just not going to make a pick on the spread. It's still an overwhelming front line. I will say, one, the Pistons in their previous matchup, they took everyone's money. They upset the Cavaliers. That was also a home game. So there is a bit of a revenge angle for the Cavaliers in this game, but I'm not going to get involved in this one. I'm going to observe the energy level of the Detroit Pistons and see what mode they're in these first 2 to 3 games after the All-Star break. And if they continue to show some of the tendencies that they showed in terms of stripping down their roster after about 2-3 games, then I will begin to fade them. But an angle that I did notice about the Pistons in my research during the break is that they don't perform well after halftime. There are live betting angles with the Pistons, especially if they're up or competing at the half. This team tends to fall apart offensively in the second half. As I said, no pick for me in this game between the Cavaliers and the Pistons. It should be a very interesting watch, though. One last note on this game, and it's common sense. It's something that everyone in the NBA betting community is already well aware of. The Darius Garland is by far the engine of the Cavaliers. Obviously, he made the All-Star team, but he really is, when it comes to ATS metrics, this team has failed to cover without Darius Garland. They can absorb the blow of losing Karis LeVert because he's still in an integration phase. They're trying to integrate Karis LeVert into the lineup. But Darius Garland is a player that is irreplaceable for this team because of the depth they have at the point guard position. I'm not going to say Rondo is washed. I'm not going to go as far as to say Rondo's washed. But I really do feel like this team will not cover close to 50% of their games, not even close, without Darius Garland. Let's see how this one goes. There might be a live betting opportunity in the second half with the Cavs. I probably spent a bit too much time on this game. I'm going to power through this the rest of the schedule. So we have the Celtics. They're 29-29 and 2 ATS up until the All-Star break, facing the Brooklyn Nets, the new look Brooklyn Nets, who are 22-36 and 1. This Nets team is obviously going to be ascendant, but that may not be today. Obviously, without the New York City, the city of New York recently changed their vaccine mandates, or they're planning to change their vaccine mandates, opening the way for Kyrie Irving to play home games. But obviously, Kyrie won't be playing tonight. They still haven't integrated Ben Simmons, and Kevin Durant is yet to return from his injury. But this team has shown fight. The Brooklyn Nets have shown fight with Seth Curry and Andre Drummond in the lineup. But this is a team in the Boston Celtics that, obviously, if you remove that one loss to the Pistons that upset everybody, this is a team in the Boston Celtics that is truly transcendent. Like, they're in the midst of a upward trajectory run. This team is going to make noise in the playoffs based on their defense. But I believe I missed the best line. This line opened at -2 the other day. This line opened at -2 the other day. It's up to -8, -7.5, I believe. Maybe you guys can correct me in the chat. I'm going to check just 1 second. If this line has moved, I have my notes on the screen. The line was -8 for the Celtics just before this game. They have a stifling defense, but they just beat the Nets by 35 points. Okay? But obviously, since the trade with Seth Curry, with Andre Drummond, this is a veteran presence that the Nets have infused into their roster, even without Kyrie. I'm not going to go as far as to say the line is over-adjusted because the Celtics defense still ranks number 1 in the NBA since January 1st by defensive rating. I still think the Celtics have a good shot to get the win here, but I will be in observation mode. I want to see if the Celtics can reignite themselves after the All-Star break. I'm not forcing anything here. I think that they're going to cover the opening spread, but maybe not the closing spread. I've chosen to stay away from this game. The reason I said that I believe the Celtics will get the money line victory here is because of the bad taste in their mouth of losing at home to the Pistons before the All-Star break and the top-notch quality of the roster. I'm just going to see, when teams dramatically alter their rosters, you start seeing quotes coming out of the locker rooms. It's nothing but positivity. It's nothing but roses in the Brooklyn Nets locker room now. Okay, so this Nets team has a completely different outlook, a completely different spirit about them for the rest of the season. And, let's see how their role players continue to – it looks like they've been overperforming. I know they lost to the Wizards in a letdown spot before the All-Star break, but it looks like their role players have been overperforming since the big trade with James Harden and Ben Simmons. My dog, Jay Money, let's go. Hey, man, appreciate you for that. South Carolina too, bro. Clutch City. Let's get some cash, bro. King CB33. The rest of the schedule, it's not that many games. I'll probably be here for another 12 minutes max, and I'll get out of here. Just want to share with everyone that the live stream tomorrow will go back to 11 a.m. This was a hectic morning for me. I had to wake up, leave, and then come back. So it's just one of those days. Shout out to everyone in the chat, though. LTE Work, Jam Rocks, AF Bets. My dog, let's go. Akbar, what's up, bro? You said Sosa's in here, too. I didn't see him. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna get to this next game though. So obviously I haven't shared a pick so far. Interesting injury news in the couple of games that we did talk about though. Darius Garland and Karis LeVert of the Cavaliers are out. Lauri Markkanen, who's been out for about 6 weeks, is on track to return tonight. So we have a new look Cavs roster to cap today. To me, it's a bit unpredictable. I'm staying away from it. And then we have the that's about it for the early games. Now let's get to another game. A game that, based on what I'm seeing on social media, is on everybody's minds. The Grizzlies, the covering machines, the young bucks, whatever you want to call them. The Grizzlies are animals 40-20 ATS, the best ATS record that's against the spread for those who don't know, record in the NBA up until the All-Star break, facing the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that's basically been playing 500 basketball by virtue of their defense. They're 30-28-1. Although they have some stellar pieces offensively on that team, I guess you can call them an offensive big three. That's what I would call the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this line did open up at -1. It's up to -3, -3.5 in some places. I'll be honest. If my system tells me to bet against the Grizzlies, I'm just going to try to ignore the game because I'm not betting against the Grizzlies, their style of play. I know it's a very small piece of anecdotal evidence, but look at the All-Star break last year. They had a similar ATS pattern going into the All-Star break, and they were a far more inexperienced team then, but they have the same makeup to their roster. They came out guns blazing after the All-Star break. They smashed their opponents. This is a Grizzlies team that just plays harder than their opponents. They lead the league in most, or they're near the top of the league in most hustle metrics, deflections, steals, second chance points, offensive rebounds. It's crazy. Transition baskets, steals that lead to transition baskets. When you add all of these different metrics together, it creates a team that teams probably don't even want to play. Teams probably don't even want to play them. But I have to respect the Minnesota Timberwolves. There have been some spots where they made us some money. This is a team that can light the offensive scoreboard up. They light it up offensively, but they let me down defensively a couple of times. Okay? Why is it freezing? They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait, bro. They couldn't wait. It's crazy. You can't even go on the timeline without seeing Grizzlies. But hey, we all know the Grizzlies are good for the NBA. They're good for the NBA. It's good to see a new young team. It could be like an OKC team 10 years ago. I'm telling you, they could be like an OKC team. They're the third youngest team in the NBA. Hopefully they get more than what that Thunder team got, though, Jay. Hopefully they get more than what they got. But, talking about the T-Wolves in this game, I respect what they've done offensively so far this season. I like the coach, Chris Finch. They just don't have the defensive personnel, the rim protectors for me to bet against the Grizzlies. Although I will be completely honest, the system is saying to take the Grizzlies tonight. It's saying to take the Grizzlies tonight, and it scared me, so I'm going to stay away from this game. A very telling piece of evidence here is the Grizzlies have covered 15 of the last 18 matchups against the T-Wolves. Once you start going beyond the last 5 matchups, that level of dominance, it starts to become a fact. It's not a trend. This Grizzlies team just owns them. But with the way the streaky nature of this T-Wolves offense, I won't be surprised if they win outright. That's why, there are a couple of boxes that are checked. It's like you said, yeah, Earl just said they're a sketchy team. They get up for certain games, and then they'll let you down defensively in the fourth quarter. Watching some of the highlights during the break of the T-Wolves before the break, it looks like this team still hasn't figured out their fourth quarter woes, everyone. This is a team that takes their foot off the gas pedal in the fourth quarter. I'm noticing it in like 75% of their games. Yeah, I may have some props later on, but unfortunately there are no strong props. It wouldn't be wise for me because of the psychology of these players and the break that we had. I'm not betting any props today, although I have a couple that I may add later. I really appreciate everyone watching the stream as well. Only a couple more games to get to, and I do have a pick to share today, and it might not be popular, but I'm going to take a risk today, and we'll see how it goes. If you guys can, hit the like button as well and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit sportx.bet, the crypto sportsbook owned by its community. I'm using odds from sportx.bet. You can earn crypto while you bet on sports. It's the best of both worlds. Try it out. I'll be honest, the crypto market is not in the best state right now, but I'm still very bullish for the long term. I don't sell after one day. Just like in the NBA, we don't overreact after one night, a couple of nights. We just move on. Moving on. Another game that could qualify as a game of the day candidate. Game of the day candidate, possibly the Atlanta Hawks facing the Chicago Bulls. The Hawks are 26-32 ATS. The Bulls are 35-23-1 ATS. The Hawks have a bit of confidence behind them. You hear some of the quotes. This is a team that talks about, quote unquote, turning on the light switch second half, regaining the confidence that they had from the second half of last season. Okay. But for me, I have to see it. I've seen a few glaring flaws defensively in this Hawks team. I have a strong lean towards the Bulls in this game. I just want to open it up with that. Although I do think overall, I think the Hawks will far outperform what they showed us in the first half, especially on the road. It's just that this Bulls team is in the middle of something special compared to the standard that they set for themselves as an organization over the last couple of years. This is a team that I'm not going to bet against too often, although I think that there will be situations to bet against this team. The Bulls, they covered both games already against the Hawks this season, and I believe one of those games John Collins was playing. If you guys don't know, John Collins is doubtful for this game tonight. This is probably going to be a public play, but I'm pretty confident in the Bulls. I do want to share a disclaimer that I did not bet it yet. I didn't bet it yet. I'm just waiting for a bit of news, and I may add it as my second pick. It's not my pick that I'm about to share, but I will say that I do have a strong lean towards the Bulls. It's just that I'm not going to bet against the Bulls in too many situations against teams with poor defensive efficiency like the Hawks do. When DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic are all playing. Then you have Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White. They're looking like they could be a starting backcourt in the NBA at times. They're very, very young, but they've shown flashes at times. Their depth bodes very well when Caruso returns. Billy Donovan did say that Caruso will return to training within 7 to 10 days, and he said that before the All-Star break. So these guys have a lot of confidence behind themselves. They know that they're going to be a whole unit soon. But I do think that the Hawks will fight early in this game. They will probably fight early in this game, apply a lot of pick and roll pressure on Nikola Vucevic tonight. But I think over the course of 4 quarters, this Bulls team will probably get it done. But I just want to share that I didn't bet it yet. I just want to see what direction. It's just a little indicator for me. I want to see what direction the line travels in when they rule Zach LaVine in 100%. They said he's not on the injury report. And when they officially say that John Collins is not out, just something that I'm watching, a pattern that I've seen in some of the early games as well. We're going to move on now from that one. The Warriors are 29, 26, and 4 ATS so far this season against don't look now, but the Portland Trailblazers are on a rampage. They're on a rampage, 24 and 34 ATS overall, but that was mostly with CJ McCollum. This team has won 4 straight games outright as underdogs. 2 of those games, they were double-digit underdogs against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Memphis Grizzlies, 2 top 5, top 6 teams in the NBA, okay? But we had some pretty big news, although it's already priced into the spread against the Warriors. We had some pretty big news that Yusuf Nurkic is going to be out. He has suffered a serious injury. He's going to, excuse me, everyone. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. And, it doesn't bode well for this team. He's arguably been their best defender over the course of this 4-game stretch. Other pieces like Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, they've been lighting it up offensively, but he's pretty much been their only sturdy piece defensively in the paint over the course of this 4-game winning streak. We see on the flip side, the Golden State Warriors, they've lost 7 straight games ATS. They have not covered a game against the spread since February 1st. We all remember the mob game, the cartel game against the San Antonio Spurs on the road. And what's funny about that game is that the Warriors didn't even have their lineup. They didn't even have their lineup that night. The entire starting 5 sat out. They covered that game with Jordan Poole and Gary Payton II. So when you take that into consideration, this Warriors team has not covered a game against the spread in the month of February. It's February 24th. They are starving to dominate. I think they have a good shot to take these guys out tonight, but they're also a team that I'm going to be in observational mode. Just watching today, I'm not going to say this spread has backdoor written on it. Let me see what it's moved up to now. It's -10. Okay, it's -10 on the road. I have the Warriors as a team that that are going to outperform what they've shown us in the first half of the season. I have the Warriors listed as one of those teams that are going to probably make us some money as Steph Curry, Klay Thompson figure things out. The motivation and desire from that veteran group when they flip that light switch, I see it coming. But probably more so towards the second and third weeks of March. But covering 10 points on the road, I'm not going to lay the spread right after the All-Star break. This game, I do want to say there are prop opportunities in this game that I do have circled, and I may jump back on here later on today or do a Twitter Spaces maybe around 6 o'clock Eastern, to share that research as long as I have time. But, just remember that this Warriors team, okay, let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers. Can they maintain that consistency on offense with Yusuf Nurkic out of the lineup? I know that they've signed Watford to a two-way deal for the rest of the season, but this is a team that is really thin at the depth position when it comes to depth. But the odds makers have clearly had no idea. They've clearly had no idea what they've been doing when it comes to the Portland Trailblazers since they've traded CJ McCollum. The odds makers have definitely incorrectly graded some of the players on this roster, and the betting public at large have done the same. So I will try to watch this game. I'll try to watch this game tonight, but just try to learn as much as I can here. The Phoenix Suns against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The OKC Thunder are the second best covering team in the NBA, 35-19-4. We have the Suns 32-26 ATS against the spread. Hey, I have futures money tied up on the Suns. You guys know I'm a pseudo Suns fan. I love the Phoenix Suns. I've adopted them as my second team. As long as they're winning, then I'll jump off the bandwagon because it's all about money when it comes to the NBA markets. But the Phoenix Suns, they're going to be without Chris Paul, likely until close to the playoffs. I can see this team bringing Chris Paul back maybe a week before the playoffs, 6 to 8 weeks with a thumb avulsion fracture, and it doesn't look good for CP3. Cam Payne is also out. So the depth position, the depth for the point guard position for the Phoenix Suns is almost non-existent right now. This is a big opportunity for Aaron Holiday, okay? A really, really big opportunity from Aaron Holiday, a young guard that they picked up from OKC. I believe he was also at the Wizards last year. And they talk really, really highly of him. Chris Paul talks really highly of Aaron Holiday. His per 36 minutes numbers are better than you think since he's joined the Phoenix Suns. So obviously they're going to fall off considerably when it comes to their assist to turnover ratio, which is a key metric for any team that's trying to perform in the NBA, wants to last long in the NBA. But look for Aaron Holiday to still perform because of how long he's going to be on the court. He's probably going to be an attractive props player going forward. I'm not going to jump on him today because it's really easy to assume, who's the next starting point guard? I'm going to bet them over on their props. No, I'm probably going to wait, but just know that I do have Aaron Holiday listed as a player that could make us some money going into the stretch. Just want to take a break and sip something because my throat's a bit dry. If you guys can, hit the like button as well. Big spread on the road, -9.5, -10 in some places. I think the Suns still have what it takes to cover here. This is really negative news that's going against them. Why is the line this high with Shai coming back for the Thunder? Shai is back. I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is back tonight. He's projected to be in the starting lineup. This is a team that's 35-19-4 ATS so far. Josh Giddey is looking like a future star in the NBA if he's not already one. Why is this line so high? I think the Thunder may catch dollars today. I'm not betting against the Suns because of their defense. We know Chris Paul's out, right? But what about the Suns' defense? They can stifle these guys and stop the Thunder from scoring for 6 to 7 minutes at a time if they really, really, really wanted to. I'm going to watch this game from an observational standpoint, see if we can make some money from the Suns after today. But I do want to say, like the Bulls, I have a strong lean to the Suns covering and getting these guys out of the way because I do think it's very suspicious that they're favored by this many points with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming back in the lineup and Chris Paul being out of the lineup. It's they have to be devaluing, and I thought that too. They're devaluing OKC. My second to last ATS pick, I lost with the Milwaukee Bucks just going into the All-Star break, but the pick before that was the San Antonio Spurs. We covered -7 by 1 point against the Thunder. This team does not stop. They will fight until the end. They're ticket killers. They will fight until the last second. But one thing I noticed is that even though we barely escaped with a win that night for Spurs bettors, Vegas is continually undervaluing the OKC Thunder. But this one here is very suspicious to me because of the Chris Paul news and how the betting public at large has had time to really think about it. I'm not seeing many Suns tickets either in the wild. So just take that for what it is. That's not my pick, though. My pick's coming in this last game, and I apologize, everyone, if I'm getting off to a unpopular start to the post All-Star break NBA season. But my pick today is going to be coming in the matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the Sacramento Kings. We have the Nuggets at 27-31 ATS, the Kings at 27-33 ATS. But we have to take most of the metrics and statistics that we're looking at with the Kings. We have to take them and throw them out of the window. This is a new look Kings roster. We have Sabonis in the mix, the Holiday in the mix. This is a new look team, a new look Kings team that I believe has taken the time. They weren't a part of most of the All-Star break festivities. I think they've taken the time, based on what I've reading, to really put forth some quality practices, maybe get on the same page here. It's going to be very unpopular what I'm about to say, but I've taken the Kings plus 4.5. I missed plus 5. I just feel like this is going to be a sleepy post All-Star game spot for the Denver Nuggets, and I think the Kings have a shot to win outright against the Denver Nuggets tonight. I think De'Aaron Fox, I like what I've seen from them. They need to tighten up a couple of things on defense, but I think that the long break with the Denver Nuggets is going to hurt them. I think it's going to hurt them tonight. The Kings, the reason I say that is because in situations with 3 or more days of rest, we have a sleepy performance offensively, particularly. They may play decent defense tonight, decent defense, the Nuggets, and may look like a decent defensive team early in this game. But I've noticed a trend. With this Nuggets team of their offensive metrics being worse when they have large periods of rest. De'Aaron Fox, the Sabonis, from the reports I'm reading, they've taken time to build chemistry over the All-Star break. I think the pick and roll pressure that those two will be able to put forth tonight will be a bit too much for the Nuggets, will be a bit too much for them over the course of the four quarters. I have to make the case for the other side. The Nuggets have one of the strong MVP candidates in Nikola Jokic. This is a team that has a newfound confidence because of reports that Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray may be returning closer than you think. The Nuggets may be a dark horse team in the playoffs, but it's not the playoffs yet. One thing that's also telling us that the Kings have covered 6 of the last 7 against the Nuggets. The Nuggets team does not perform very well in Sacramento. I don't know what it is about this environmental shift, but it's a very unpopular pick to start the All-Star break. I do lean towards the Suns and the Bulls. Haven't bet them yet, but I've already bet the Kings plus 4.5, and I think that they have a shot to win outright money line. I'm taking risks. I have not a new approach, but I'm trying to get back to an approach that worked for me in the past when it comes to my own decision making. And that's not having any fear, everyone. This is not for the faint of heart. And I believe a combination of not having any fear and reducing my overall amount of picks will increase my NBA profits for the rest of the season. Trying to emulate what I'm doing in some of the other markets, and it is what it is. Let's get to it. Let me just catch up on the chat. I'm gonna get out of here, everyone. I hope everyone appreciates. What's up, bro? Let's go. We have validation from the sharp minds, everyone. We have validation from the sharp minds. Let's go. It may be conspiracy time today. Best of luck. As always, everyone, don't go crazy on any one play. We have a lot of money to make all the way through the finals. And I just wish everyone the best of luck. Hope you feel great. And I will have a quick update around 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll jump back on and maybe share some more information on YouTube. And I'll also host the Twitter Spaces later around that same time, maybe 6:15, 6:20-ish. I invite everyone to come on Twitter Spaces and join the conversation. I will see everyone later. My pick today is the Sacramento Kings plus 4.5. Let's start the All-Star break right, and I'll see you guys later.